Hi, I'm Tim Bradner with Alaska Legislative Digest, and thank you for joining us with Capitol News. We're here today with Representative Ken McCarty, newly elected representative for District 13, Chugach Eagle River. Welcome, Representative McCarty. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Ken, maybe the first thing we could do is just ask you to describe your district, where it is and what some of the boundaries are.
Sure, it's Chugach Eagle River and J-Bear, which is the Army side of the J-Bear, and that's just north of Anchorage. So it's nestled in, nice community of quite a few people in between Anchorage and the valley.
Yeah. Have you lived there a while? Or?
I've been there 11 years, and I came from Kodiak on my way over to, and I've always liked the Eagle River area, driving through, and I'm blessed to be there.
Yeah. When did you live in Kodiak very long?
No, just 3 years, 4 years before that, and actually had lots of family members that lived there. Grandfather lived in Kodiak and had an island. He was a fisherman, and one of those rough, tough Alaskan fishermen of the 40s to the 70s.
Well, it's a good place to be, and a good place to grow up. Good place to be in Eagle River too. Ken, among your, just want to ask about your background and things you've done. And I noticed in your bio that you've done work in workforce education and training, and you have an interest in helping people develop workforce skills, young people.
I do. The purpose in life is very important, and to have individuals that are skilled in a certain area and encourage that skill that they have. I had a school that served special needs kids and helping them. And one of the big things is seeing that they had skill sets rather than having this idea that they were not accomplished and they were just kind of in special ed. And I have high regards for our special ed teams and teachers. But we were able to do that and with great success. And people wanted me to put together a school that did kind of a trade emphasis charter school. And so it was a K through high school type format. And I believe the bent of a child by the third grade. You kind of know the direction they're moving towards. Doesn't mean you force them in that. But I actually have a bill I'm going to be presenting next week that is allowing for concurrent enrollment in high school. So right now, a student could go to middle college and get credit for high school and middle college. This bill will give you high school and trade skill abilities while you're in high school.
That's interesting. I mean, there's all sorts of interesting things in education being done. In terms of the trade, the charter school, were you able to? Did you have machinery there that you could work with? Were you able to get the right equipment? That's one of the issues with so-called vocation. What we used to call vocational ed was the high cost of equipment.
That's correct. And the big thing was to get the community, the industry around to come alongside so that you didn't have to duplicate, but to be able to send the kids out to the different sites so they could learn from industry, professionals. One of the concerns was having a teacher, that a good-hearted teacher, but let's say an English teacher teaching a subject in the trades that they're really not adept at, and misleading, in that process. So get the trades involved. My son, as an example, was in high school, and the teacher was the science teacher, whatever, but his kind of surrogate grandfather, whatever, was a NASA scientist who's retired. And so he kind of hung out in the high school classroom all the time and inspired the students to become engineers.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Did you find the employers in the area were pretty open to taking kids in? I guess it's almost like an intern program, in a sense.
It is, and it's interesting as we see the workforce in some realms aging, and these master journeymen are retired. They're looking for a purpose in life. They're bored after a few weeks of retirement, and to come up to them and say, "Would you be willing to teach a class for maybe a month or something like that? Do a cohort?" That they're shaking their heads. Yes, I'd be in on that.
Yeah. Is the school still operating, or has it moved into a different phase?
No, the school is no longer, and the facility was taken over by other charter schools. So I don't know what they're doing in that realm there.
Yeah. I know in Anchorage, we have King Career High School. And is there places in the schools in Eagle River Chugach where they can get career education? Are they well set up for that? Or do they need to go to other schools?
Well, that's a piece of this bill, is to recognize the industry standard training centers. So if they come alongside with the Department of Education for the state, contracting that, we could send the students there to get the industry standard training, as well as they're doing the educational pieces at the high school. In the case of Chugach High School, there's a training center just 2 miles away. I think that saves us the money as a state in the investment of equipment. We don't have to duplicate, as well as we don't have to duplicate resources of instructors.
Yeah, that's interesting. What is the training center that's nearby?
It's the Alaska Trade School,
Uh-huh.
just on Old Glen. Mhm. Yeah, I've been to a few other schools, looking at them, seeing what kind of programs exist, and there's quite a few opportunities throughout the state. And even the point of maybe sending some of these instructors to these distant locations to help in the training, as well as like what we're doing now to be able to do virtual classroom for that format.
Yeah. One of the bills that will be before the legislature this year is the TVEP reauthorization of the training, the employment funds, which as we're employed, we pay a part of our unemployment compensation into a training fund, and that's allocated to regional training centers. Has to be reauthorized every 5 years. But
Mhm.
I'm sure you'll be interested in that. And
Yes, I'll be following that closely.
yeah. Well, Ken, thanks for joining us. Look forward to talking again with you and talking further on workforce training. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.